For our Reno save today, I'm going to be building a graveyard to put all of your dead Sims in. I'm going to put this in Willow Creek inside of the Hello Slow. How are we saying it? Hello Slow? Hello Sloth? I don't know. I feel like this is the perfect size for a little graveyard. Across the road from this lot, there's also this nice little garden space which your Sims could use. And there's also a fishing spot with a barbecue and picnic bench here. And I always consider what's around the lot before building on the lot, because now I know I don't need to put any cooking facilities in here, for example. There is also a park over the road here as well that I didn't notice, so that's always good. And it's right by the goth house, which I feel like is fitting to put a graveyard near there. I feel like it would fit well in this little neighborhood. Now, in terms of a lot type, we could go for generic, but I feel like it would be much better to change it to a wedding venue, at least for now. And the reason why I've decided to make this, by the way, is because we do know that the brand new Sims 4 pack that's coming out after Love Struck is going to be a death or elder related expansion pack. Obviously, we're going to get a couple of kits before it comes out, but I want to prepare by making a graveyard with a small little chapel. Obviously, to fit the theme of the world, I'm going to try and make an American style church, which to be fair have quite a simple shape. They tend to literally just be a square with like a spire on top of it and then just a roof like this. It's very, very simple, but I'm gonna make the main focus the graveyard. So perhaps to keep it slightly more interesting, we could do something different with the roof. I'm thinking we actually make one of these roofs. I don't know what it's called. Would you call it like a barn style roof, where you put these two half roofs on the side and then you put one of these down the middle? Is that what it's called? And then I believe the spire, is that what it's called, would go maybe on top here. Is this the intended vibe? I am thinking instead of just doing one spire like this, we make this wall height a bit shorter. Maybe we could do a one tile spire. Could something like this be better? Or maybe not. This is why I really want half walls in The Sims 4, because a half wall tile here would mean we could make it slightly bigger. My wedding stories does come with this that we could use, actually. We also got this singing cats and dogs, although it's got a dog on top. That's a bit weird. Oh no, there is a plain version, maybe like this. So thinking about this, a lot is actually smaller than I originally thought, so this might be a little bit difficult to do. We don't have a cross that I could use to put on front of it, although I guess it's not really a religious building, it's just a place to get married, so we don't really need one. Now this actual spire, I believe it actually correlates with the base game side panels. Is that what you Americans would put on something like this, like the siding? I'm looking on Google image pictures and it seems very varied, like you can use anything, although I did notice that a lot of them actually have a bit at the front, so we could do something like this. Yeah, I think that helps to bring it together a lot better. Also, I am going to put a bit on the side like this, and this will function as a toilet. It looks like a lot of these buildings can be quite tall. Gosh, looks kind of huge. It looks too big. Maybe I should change the wall height down a little bit, especially now it's raised up, because a lot of them in the pictures, they do look raised. And then it seems like a lot of them have a big open archway like this in the entrance. And then they have stairs directly going up, kind of like this. Seeming that we've used some cats and dogs here, I'm gonna try and keep this base game plus cats and dogs, because I feel like a lot of you guys own that pack anyways. Obviously this is Willow Creek, so I don't want to make it look too pretty. I kind of like the idea that it's maybe a little bit shabby, although it doesn't necessarily match the outside. I'm actually thinking of using some kind of brick on the inside. If the outside is this siding, it seems a bit weird to be using like a brick like this, for example, but this is literally The Sims. It does not have to be accurate, although I can't say I'm impressed with base game plus cats and dogs. Although I did find a new siding which is a little bit more worn away, and I actually really like it. I don't think I've ever used this in my life, genuinely never, but I really like that. Makes it look a bit more eroded. Seeing the whole point of this is a graveyard rather than a church, I think it's a good idea. Then maybe, I don't know what we could do. Okay, because we don't have any good kind of wood or anything, or good slabs in the base game, I might just go for a plain white wall for now. Now in terms of a main door, I quite like this big door from the base game. I think that looks pretty cool. Cats and Dogs comes with this circular window window, which is quite good, isn't it? That looks really good there. I'm going to put one on each side of this thing. That makes it come together really nicely. I really like that. I want to match the roof with the spire, and luckily it matches with the base game one here. Or is it this? I think it's this one. This is coming together so nicely. The British in me wants to put some stained glass windows in, but I feel like in a lot of American churches, maybe you wouldn't have those. So I'm just a bit hesitant to do it. We could go for something like this maybe, because this would look nice from the inside to have these big open windows. And in fact, whilst we're here, because platforms literally mess everything up, I'm gonna put a platform here straight away just so we can add the walls back. I really hate how platforms just totally ruin a build. So my best piece of advice is like always plan ahead with them, so that way we could have like the proper main churchy bit with the wedding arch. Is it weird to have the toilet there? I don't know. Maybe we should get rid of this toilet area, guys. I don't know if I'm keen on it. This platform does clip through the windows. Ooh, I hate it. Okay, we raise it up. They are slightly higher than the other ones, which is a bit infuriating. I guess we could raise these up. That's fine. They don't have to be touching the floor. Okay, I quite like this. Maybe we could just have a little bit at the back here like this. I don't know. Maybe we could have it more square. I'm just thinking like a place for a church organ with a little circular window at the back, and then you can just add a gabled roof thingy on top of it. So I feel like the cats and dogs windows were a really good shout here to make this look really special. I am going to go back on the siding just because it bugs me that it doesn't match the spire. We will use the stone railing on this part here, then the plain white swatch on the stairs. I think this looks really good, guys. I'm really happy. Now, I'm actually not against using stone tiled flooring, maybe for the front area. But do we put tiles on the back, planks on the front? I think it looks better like this. Change the platform to match it. That looks awesome. For now, I want to ignore the inside and focus on the main goal of today's video, which is to do a graveyard. The houses in this neighborhood seem to use this particular stone fence. Maybe we should use it all around the build, trying to maximize as much space as possible in order to make sure that we definitely can put a graveyard in. But do we have a matching gate? Because normally the gates in this game look pretty horrendous. They don't match with anything. Oh no, I don't think we've got a matching one, do we? Does this match? Kind of, but not really. That is such a shame that we don't have a matching one. Okay, not to worry. Maybe we could use this one, which kind of looks like a metal railing. Does this one have a matching gate? We've got this small one here. We could use this wooden one. I guess that's fine, I guess. Though cats and dogs comes with a fence. Maybe we should go for the cats and dogs one, you know? If we're using that pack, maybe that could look sweet. And also use the cats and dogs columns on this build to make it look nice. And then we can use, I think, the gravelly terrain paint, or maybe we should use a darker one. And then for the like graveyardy bit, I'm gonna put a little bit of gravel going off into it, but I want it to almost fade into dirt, so there isn't necessarily a defined pathway as you get inside. Now, in terms of marking off graves, I guess we need just a 2x2, so you can put your actual gravestone into the top bit, and then the bottom bit we can have flowers. We also need a toilet. The reason why I got rid of the internal one is because I think we can just use one of these outside, which would be fine. Maybe we could pop it like here. So I don't know how many Sims you guys plan on killing off. We could start with a few here, have 5 over here like this, then we could have 5 on the other side, maybe just like this, that you can walk through. So that's 10. Are you guys killing off more than 10 dead Sims? Could add a couple more to be safe. I might also add this bigger like gravestone here, so if you have like a particular notable Sim that's died, you could put them here, or you could put a family of dead Sims here. Now, I also want to make a cozy seating area or something, so we could put like a really big tree in this build. We could go cats and dogs here. I like the idea of it looking a bit more dreary and shaded. Now, in terms of terrain paint that we've got to use, I'm gonna add some terrain paint to every single one of these grave areas. And then I believe you can just like drag and drop Sims here from your like inventory. I mean, rather not the Sims themselves, you know what I mean? And then you can keep them on the lot. And as far as I'm aware, it shouldn't bug out the game if you do have graves on a community lot. I believe they will just stay there. The reason why I think actually as well graveyards are so important, because if you don't have them, ghost Sims will turn up on your lot. And sometimes like when a Sim is gone, you literally literally just want them to be gone forever, which is why you can just keep them here. Now, I am going to use dirt to create a pathway so it looks kind of like a human path that people typically cross, because this is what you would likely see in real life for sure. Now, do we put a very small pond in here? I feel like that would be quite cute, actually. Just a little one right next to the tree. Oh, I'm not very good at using the pond tool. Whenever I use it, the line's always jagged around the pond. It looks a little bit weird. I feel like I'm always doing it wrong. Okay, and then in terms of the water itself, could go for like a grassy one or a green one. Maybe brown's a bit gross. Maybe just pond water, the green swatch. Pop a dead log in there for aesthetics. And we'll decorate it with some reeds. I'll do it all properly with, I think, some normal plants in addition to the reeds. But I would also like to use, maybe we could use some animals like dragonflies in here, tadpoles, and maybe fireflies actually, because this will be at nighttime. Do you know what? We could actually put firefly spawners next to the gate itself because they don't really need water. I just feel like it would look really cool. And we will test this out in live mode afterwards with the spawners. Now, for every single grave, I kind of want to put some like different flowers in there. I think you will definitely need to have the move objects on cheat in order to place Sims in the graves, just because we're popping these flowers on top. But I just feel like they make it so much better. And also use these flower patch. I genuinely never use these flower patches, guys, like these square ones that come in the base game. I've just never ever found like any suitable use for them really, until now that is. So we're just going for something slightly different in each one. So I'm quite happy with those. So again, there's 13 guys. There's literally 13. I feel like that's enough. And then obviously we've got this big area here. What could we do with this? But maybe we could get rid of the fence itself. We could add a platform on top of here, you know, and then we could make this like more of a fancy thing where you could actually put the urns. You know, I just realized we also have these base game graves. Okay, that's really interesting. Do you know what I'm going to do actually? Seeing that realistically you are not going to be killing that many Sims, I'm actually going to put a couple of base game gravestones in here just to make it look like it's already slightly full, if you know what I mean. So you've still got space for your dead Sims. You've still got 8 spaces. Oh my god, is this a pet grave? Oh my god, it's literally a pet grave. Does it have slots on top? No, that's a shame. Oh my god, do we make a pet graveyard? Do pets have tombstones? They do. That's really cool. I didn't realize. So maybe we could use this as a place for pets, and you can put all the pet urns on here if any of your pets die in the game. If you don't have cats and dogs, it's fine. You can just put a human urn here, but I think that's really cool actually. But what I would really like, maybe we could use another platform. Okay, I've sized these 2 graves down. Then we could have a platform up here, and then this is where you could place an actual urn on top of it, and then you could put some other pet graves like around the side bits on here. There's a place for 1, 2, 3, 4 urns, or technically 6 if you place them on half tiles. And then next up, I feel like we decorate these areas with some different kind of plants. Is it weird to put a plant directly on top of this tombstone? I don't know if it is. I think it's fine. Oh, look, we have these like little pet ones that we can actually pop on here as well. That's really cute actually, isn't it? I like that. So I'm really pleased with this little area actually. I feel like this is really usable for gameplay. Also put some flowers in some of the other like pre-made tombstones. Now I am also using a very gentle dirty grass swatch. I'm using this one here, but I'm using it on the lowest softness or opacity, just because I feel like the grass in here, like it needs to be kind of slightly dead in order to match the vibe. So if we make the grass just look a bit more brown and dreary, I think it adds to the aesthetics of the space. I feel like most of us don't bother to use like grass in terms of terrain paint. We just leave it as default, but I think it can make a build really pop. But then we'll leave this other side nice and open. We'll also use this as an opportunity to add some vegetation around it. I'm going to be using some cats and dogs plants just because they exist. Oh look, we even have like a dog and a cat that we can pop here. No, that's too much. That's way too much. A lot of lavender. You guys know I'm all about saving the bees and all that. So I've gone quite hard. If you're playing on a Mac, I'm sorry. This built may not be usable for you, but I really just wanted to place loads of plants in and around. I've done some plants and stuff around the actual pond itself as well, just to make this specific area potentially feel a little bit more unkept, which I feel like is more realistic. Now, in terms of extra decoration, okay, I'm thinking at first we put a bench outside. Do we go for a full-on picnic? Oh, no, are you having a picnic in a graveyard? No, you are not. If you are, you're a creep. Maybe we could just go for one like this here. Put it in with some terrain, just like this. So yeah, this is very like grass heavy, but I just feel like it looks better if it's like really, really grassy in here. It's like really, really unkept all around. So I'm tremendously happy. One thing I always forget, which I've literally just remembered, is outdoor lights. Do any of you guys like always forget to do outdoor lights in your Sims builds? I don't know why I always forget it. I just do. So I quite like these ones actually. They look kind of spooky. We pop a couple of these in and around the different areas over here. I'm also thinking we add literally some really tiny lights on the inside here, kind of covered up by the window frame, and then it makes it look lit up, the top of it from the inside, which I think is quite cool. Now, in terms of doing the inside, do we want like, is there like a tall chandelier we could use? I don't know, like from these specific packs. I don't think there will be one, you know, that's such a shame. But I do quite like these cats and dogs lights, actually, this one here, excluding like the spire bit. What if we put these in here? Is that a vibe? I quite like that actually. And it lights up the inside like very slightly. While we're here, I've got to do the ceilings because this is also something that I'm always forgetting to put in my Sims builds, the different ceilings. Maybe we should go for like a siding, which would basically like match the flooring kind of to make it kind of look like beams. I usually find ceilings a little bit glitchy, to be honest. Like up here, it's very glitchy. Just don't look up, basically. Don't look up and you'll be fine. Now for the inside, I feel like we need to change up the floor, use a carpet or something so it's not plain all the way through. Seeming that we don't have a pack that we can use because it's just cats and dogs and base game for some like indoor seating that would match. I feel like this base game bench looks really good in like a church build. I'm doing this for your weddings, although not that you'll be having a successful wedding in The Sims 4. This is enough for 12 guests. I feel like you're not inviting more than 12 people to your Sims 4 wedding, but that should be fine. Seeing this is quite a small little chapel anyway. We've only got a base game wedding arch to work with, which is a shame, but it is what it is. Now, ideally, guys, I would like to use the organ that came with the vampires pack. I feel like actually in a small church like this, you probably have an electric keyboard to be realistic. But like we've only got cats and dogs and base game, meaning like we could only use, oh, that looks way too fancy. We could only use like this piano here, which I just feel like is too much, you know? Okay, guys, I'm going back on cats and dogs and base game only. If you don't own vampires, you won't have this church organ here. I'm sorry. You could always just replace it with a normal piano. I just feel like it looks really nice here. I would also like a podium. We've got ones in city living and one in high school years. I'm sure there was also a Discover University podium. Why is that not showing up in there? Oh, this is like a whole debate podium. That's way too big. Again, like I don't know if you guys own city living. I just feel like it would be nice to pop it in there so you could use it for something. Again, I'm so sure like when this brand new pack comes out, there's going to be some new podium to give a sermon or something. But for now, I think we can just use this one again. If you don't own the pack, you won't have it. That's completely fine. You don't need it. As long as the main shell and decorations are base gaming cats and dogs, I feel like that's fine. Now we do also need to decorate the inside of this. We do have this cats and dogs rug that we can put like leaning up to the wedding arch, which is quite cool. I'm kind of also thinking like, do I really like, I kind of want to make it look a little bit trashy because this is Willow Creek. I feel like any Willow Creek build needs to be a little bit more ratchet. I think in general the inside looks quite pretty, but it's also quite basic. I don't want to use up too much room because I know it can wreak havoc on a wedding if there's like too much space so it Sims can't maneuver around. I just feel like we need a runner in the middle of this kind of space because it feels very empty right now, although I don't know what kind of carpet we could use. Maybe Maybe we could even just size up this base game one. I don't know. And then just move all of these benches over slightly so they're not touching it. What we ideally need now is kind of like a sign just to go on this board here with the text. Cats and dogs have ones, but they've got pets on the pictures, which I feel like kind of ruin it a bit. Maybe we should just get rid of the sign because there isn't anything to go with it. Said we could pop another tree here. We could use this cats and dogs birch tree, actually. That's quite cool. I like that. To make it more cozy, I'm thinking we add some different kinds of candles, just like dotted around, maybe on the floor, you know. We even got this cats and dogs one here. That's pretty cool, actually. I really like that. Just for the aesthetics, if you are playing in the night time, that's pretty cool. I like that. I don't want to add like any gameplay objects to it because I feel like that would just ruin your Sims weddings. If you have one and there's like a speaker and Sims start cowpoke dancing or something in the middle of a wedding, or God forbid a funeral. What I will do with cats and dogs, because I feel like you might actually bring your pets onto this lot, because it feels like the kind of lot that you might actually bring a pet to. I might just bring a toy box, or is that a bit much? Fine. I don't think we need any like pet toys or anything here. Like, you know, you could bring your dog to the graveyard. So I feel like that's it in terms of aesthetics. I'm really happy. Honestly, I feel like this sounds so morbid. I feel like playing with a household with pets and killing the pets so I can put them in the graveyard. Is that really morbid? I just think it would be really cute. As I said before, in terms of food, there is literally a barbecue over the road here, and somewhere, there we go, there's also a little park here, and over on this side there's also another park with a barbecue. I feel like it would be unnecessary to add just like, you know, all this stuff into this one little lot. So I'm really happy with the way that this looks, actually. So I'll pop this one on the gallery. Hello Slow Sloth Chapel. There we go. If you enjoyed this build video, you might also enjoy the next one recommended here. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.